If I decide to wake up a little later than I usually like to and go on my typical route to school, I will run into my worst enemy, this City of Boca Raton service truck. Some of you may be all too familiar with this truck. For those of you who aren't, though, this truck is truly awful. It will drive 15 miles below the speed limit, and to make matters even worse, it will stop on the side of the road every now and then to pick up singular dead palm fronds. Why would the truck do this to us during rush hour, when we have our very important lives and our families and our schools and our jobs to go to? Does the truck have a personal vendetta against us? This phenomenon, believe it or not, isn't limited to the Boca Raton service trucks of the world. I call this type rose sniffers, because they just love to stop and smell roses all day, every day. My definition of a rose sniffer is someone or something who does not know or even does not care that their slowness is affecting the people around them. Other examples of rose sniffers are people blocking doorways when you're trying to go to class, cars going 35 miles an hour down I-95, groups who walk slowly in massive horizontal lines in the hallways, and cars stopped at green lights for 8 seconds, apparently waiting for the light to get greener. Rose sniffers are not people knowingly or unknowingly endangering you or the people you care about. They're people moving at their own pace, a little slower than yours. Immediately, in response, you could shove past them, could barge right through, roll down your window, yell some expletive. So clearly, good solutions are rarely found in the heat of the moment. But what if we didn't need to make such rash decisions? Instead, we could take a second, stand. Stand stands for stop, think, act, next direction. So first you stop. You don't need to completely halt what you're doing. Sit down. Don't park your car in the middle of oncoming traffic to have a nice thinking session. But slow your mind down. Take a deep breath and ground yourself in your surroundings. Next, you need to think. Your greatest tool is not brute strength, but thought and intelligence. If the solution truly is to make a hard turn into the other lane to get around a stopped truck, then you can make that decision after thinking about it. Your thinking needs to have a purpose. Where are you going? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? These are all questions that you need to ask and remind yourself of. Next, act. After thinking about what you're going to do, you need to do it, and you need to do it carefully and respectfully. So where you turn on your turn signal and look in your blind spot, or where you kindly say, "Excuse me," to whoever you're trying to get around. Once you start to act, though, you need to commit to it, or else you risk becoming a rose sniffer yourself. The next direction is the easiest step to miss, but it is just as important as the first 3 steps. To move in the next direction means that you aren't angry about this in 5 minutes, or 5 hours, or 5 days. You're out of the fray now, so be happy. Don't turn to your kid and give a lecture about how much of an idiot that person is, because if it is true, it will be self-evident. What following stand does, fundamentally, is remind you of what you can't and can control. When you deal with what you can't control, what more is to do than hope? But when you deal with what you can control, you always have the opportunity to do right by yourself and others. 2,000 years ago, the most powerful man in the world at the time, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, wrote that one should do what you have in hand with a perfect and simple dignity, and with feelings of affection and freedom and justice, and to give yourself relief from all other thoughts. Those are the words of a man practically worshipped as a deity, saying that what you should do should be simple and compassionate. We don't need to be all-powerful to recognize that every action we have has power. It exists whenever we pull back a bit to let someone merge on the highway. Following stand forces us to be compassionate. Slow drivers are pretty thoroughly mocked already, but I'd be willing to bet they aren't dying to be driving slowly themselves. Maybe their vehicle can't go safely above a certain speed. Maybe they got into a bad accident and drive cautiously as a result. I'd be willing to bet that everyone here, myself included, has been a road sniffer at one point or the other. A few weeks ago, I was walking down a sidewalk, and my friends had to yell to get my attention so that I would move out of a bicycle's way. I didn't mean any harm by it. I was just smelling the roses. We have all sat at that green light for a little too long because we're skipping through songs or zoned out just a bit. Getting angry at people who are working at their own pace, though giving us a fleeting moment of superiority, degrades us. Because at some point, we will all stand in front of the forks in the cafeteria, talking while others reach around awkwardly to try and get their utensils. When we have compassion for others and their moments of lethargy, we're developing empathy for ourselves too. So I really do question that service truck's usefulness in picking up singular palm branches during rush hour. But that truck is not out to get me, so it can't anger me. It might as well just be a part of nature. So, when it pulls over, I stop, think, act, and move on to the next direction. And just like that, I am freed from the oppression of the city of Boca Raton service truck. Thank you.